Hello, everyone. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 4. Today we are joined by Scott Thompson, who is the lead of development for Big Blue Swim School. Scott, thank you for spending some time with us on this version of Meet the Zor. Scott, what I would love is for you to position the brand as a part of your opening statement, as well as explain why now. That's the initial question that we love to hear from you.
Great. Well, thanks for having me, Nick and Charles. Big Blue Swim School is a dedicated swim school for kids 0 to 9. I'd like to say that what really differentiates us is kind of a multitude of things, but think of Big Blue Swim School as the next kind of evolution of swim schools, where we use a tech wrapper around the experience for the consumer. So like Peloton, Orange Theory Fitness, Top Golf, where the experience is fully immersed in data and technology, where the consumer can track the child's progress, how safe they are around water. We also build more water when we build our facilities so that we can address 40% of the market. Most swim schools can handle kids 0 to 5 pretty well. It's the swimming as an activity post learning to swim, that 6-year-old to 10-year-old. And so we were able to address that, which from a top line perspective is close. It increases the top line pretty high. We also locate our schools in site locations around the country. We're going after, where your Pier 1 imports are, where your targets are, where the consumer, spends most of their time. Typical, the mom is usually the buyer of the service, and they have 1.7 kids. So that's the other thing. They're usually 36 months apart, and they want to get both children at the same time in the water, and we're able to do that, A, with our technology, a couple clicks of your phone, and B, with the actual water, right? So if child A is 3 and learning to swim, you can get child B in the water at the same time, who might be 6 years old, and learning at different strokes and how to be more safe around water, and also swimming more distance. We've got an awesome leadership team. We're equity-backed company, so we have plenty of assets to invest in the business and the brand. We spend a great deal of time, like I said, working on the data and leveling up on every area of the business, whether it's marketing, whether it's the technology piece, as well as the operations and training. We have instructional designers on staff to build out our LMS platform, so it really makes it simple and easy for a franchisee to train new swim associates and bring on staff and do it the Big Blue way, not do it their own way. So we in the leadership team, we've got CEO all the way down. So we've got a full C-suite, CFO, CEO, COO. And we're growing. We're 78 units in 19 states in less than 18 months. So it's been a fun ride here, and we're starting to get a lot of these sites open. And why now, Nick? I think a couple of different reasons. First of all, SBA is being very aggressive with their lending. The U.S. Treasury, if you get your loan locked in by September, you're going to get 6 months worth of interest and principal payments made by the U.S. Treasury. So that's a plus. Interest rates are as low as they'll probably ever be for an SBA loan. The terms for SBA loans are a little bit more aggressive, meaning they're either going out between 10 and 15 years. And also the cash injection, the money you need up front to get the loan, is going down from, say, 20% to maybe 15%. What that means also is sites that normally would be very difficult to find right now are now becoming available because the hard goods retailers have finally can't hang on. This pandemic has really knocked them off. And so Tuesday mornings, Pier 1 Imports, Dress Barn, Payless, all these places that have been hanging on by a thread because of the good economy are now closing up shop, which is really allowing our real estate team, which we have a full suite of team members that support the franchisees to find their awesome sites. And these sites that we've identified that were occupied before are now coming available. And then, the other beautiful thing is like I said, we've got a team of people to support our franchisees, franchise partners, that a standard legacy brand would have, meaning we've got a lot of people in different departments to help launch and grow the business. Our community readiness team, which is our pre-sales marketing team, they pretty much handle everything for you to help launch your swim school with between 500 and 1,500 swimmers day one. And they really, really hone in on that on a weekly basis to make sure they're getting your signups. So we built out all the technology for that, and have a full team to support you on that. So,
Scott, there's so much there, and really trying to connect the dots backwards, right? I mean, between the readiness team, the support teams, and then the technology. I mean, is Big Blue? When I grew up in the Northeast, there was no such thing as a Big Blue, right? I mean, and so in many ways, it seems like from the outside looking in, you guys are creating a new category.
I mean, I wouldn't. Swim schools have been around forever. Started in actually Australia and Japan, Southeast Asia. I mean, that's where swim schools originated, and slowly moved over here in the last 30 years. And again, have gone from cold, 70-degree water, rusty buildings, chlorinated, like you smell the chlorine when you walk in. I mean, it's that whole rustic kind of swim team. We 5 a.m. swim lesson, if you will. And the experience for mom and the family, and especially the kids, was not great. Same thing with going to like the YMCA and some of the. So it's really evolved, and a couple of our competitors have done a good job opening the space up, but people were a little concerned early on about, can we really make money if we put $1.5 million to $2 million into a retail center? Can these support that type of capital investment? Well, they tested it. They found out it does work, but what was happening is the other people were building small water, not big enough water, because they weren't able. Those facilities were getting maxed out, and they couldn't get all the kids in at the same time. So mom or dad had to split duties, and kid 1 had to learn to swim, kid 2 had to do another activity. Whereas swimming is one of the fastest growing kind of activity for kids to do. It's safe. It's a lifetime skill that a child can learn, meaning when you're in your 70s, you can still, if you learn to swim effectively and efficiently, you can still do it in your 70s as great as exercise. So it's one of those things that if a child truly learns to swim and actually uses it as an activity, that they're going to keep it with them long term. But nowadays, millennial moms, they want ease of use, they want efficiency, they want to kind of be in the least path of resistance for them within their 10-minute drive time. And so we want to be able to be there with multiple kids. Like we're opening Johns Creek here, and I live in a neighborhood where a lot of families have 3 and 4 children. They're able to take all their kids at the same time on a Saturday, and for mom to be able to sit in the lobby in this nice air-conditioned lobby, look through the glass, and when the child's behind the glass on the other side, it's 90-degree water, 91-degree air. They're not chattering their teeth. They're not cold. They're having fun. The swim associates are trained we use a kind of our principles to explain, demonstrate, mimic, correct. So it's very much interactive and fast moving. So for that full half hour, mom's able to sit there, be on Instagram, chat with some friends on Facebook or wherever they do, and have that sense of freedom. And then some of the other touch points that we do with them, that we do make it very simple for them. Shower on deck, change in the changing room. We have every changing room has a baby changing table. So if again, they have a baby and a 3-year-old or something, they're still able to handle that effectively in the facility. And they're in and out of there in, say, 45 minutes. And it's a really, really efficient experience for them. And then they're able to track, 400 skills on the app, 11 different lesson levels. They're able to change their schedule if they need to, or move a child here or there. We make it really, really simple to interact with us. And that tech wrapper, and if our price point is consistent with our competitors, we tend to capture some market share when we go into new markets.
The two audiences that we're putting this in front of, one would be the franchise buyer.
Yep.
For them to be able to listen to what you're saying and get a glimpse into what is your brand and what is the opportunity that you are selling. The other one would be the franchise broker that is looking at one of their candidates that has come to the table. Obviously, you're looking for a higher net worth individual here. This is not for just anybody. What have you seen from buyer pool that has come there? Is this a tougher pool to find? And do they become even more legit because they have made some money in their lives?
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, Nick. Is the pool smaller or different? We have, in the last, 12 months, let's say, we've added 15 new franchisees. Not one franchisee has just bought one location. Most have bought 2 to some have bought 16 locations. And the reason is because we believe we've mastered, or we continue to master, the unit model, meaning we're trying to always be efficient, with our labor costs, leveraging our algorithms within the technology to maximize the demand for the pool. So you have, when people want to be in the pool, we have the swim associates to be there, and we're not just having people sit around. We're maximizing the ratios of kids to swim associates to make the profitability higher for the franchise partner. So we're continuously doing that. If we can automate it, we automate it somehow or other. So, like, for instance, to run payroll in one of our facilities, if you have 25 swim associates, and 2 assistant managers, it takes the GM 5 minutes to run payroll because it's connected to our Lesson Buddy platform. Same thing with the payment processing. So, we don't take a point or half a point on credit card transactions. We pass that savings along to franchisees because we're fully integrated with our merchant service provider into Lesson Buddy, and customers put their credit card in, it's PCI compliant, and we're able to automate charges every month for the franchisee. So from a cash flow perspective, make it really simple. And then Ceteris, which is our accounting platform, they do a lot of the P&L roll-ups for us, but they also, with QuickBooks, that's fully integrated as well. So we can look at P&Ls across the entire country, maximize if someone's doing something more efficiently in other markets, what are they doing? Again, learning best practices through the P&L and applying that across the system. So we're constantly refining the model. And what we're seeing from the franchisee is that usually about 800 to $1 million liquidity and about 2 to 5 million of net worth. We've got a discovery day, what we call Dive-In Day, coming up here in June 24th in Atlanta, which we have 3 people flying in. Considering COVID, I mean, it's huge. Their average net worth is about 10 million between the 3 buying parties there. So we're attracting folks that are looking for a long-term investment. During recessionary times is the best time to act on this because you're going to get better deals with landlords. You're going to get better rates with lenders. And they have, like I said, liquidity, and they're looking to, again, capitalize and kind of grow their portfolio wealth.
Scott, so the franchisee profile are business builders, right? They're not going to be the typical franchisee necessarily looking for direct, a job income replacement. How does that play in terms of brokers and broker relationships? Have you guys been working with brokers?
Yeah, we do have a couple of relationships with some of the groups that are out there. It's they can't send us just every outplacement candidate that they have from executive jobs. They have to really dig in a little bit, make sure they've got some some experience and as well as the net worth and liquidity. But they do. I mean, we don't get 20, 30 leads a month from a franchise consultants, but we do get, 4 or 5, and those 4 or 5 that have the money and the wherewithal see the support, the process, the training, the overall success of the model and the technology, and they see the long-term viability of it, and they feel like it's recession resistant. I mean, mom or dad are always going to take kids to learn to swim. It's more of a safety necessity than it is just an activity for a kid to do.
Scott, obviously the candidate that you're going after is limited. When you get to the net worths that you're talking about, you're talking about elite buyer. It's much different than someone that could be buying something, say, under $150,000. How are you going about finding these prospects? How are you having these conversations to help convince them that this is the right decision for them, because they've already made money? That why do they need this as well?
Yeah, well, first off, I never convince anybody to do this, because if I convince you to do it, then I've not done a good job. But we've got a pretty solid process that we take candidates through called the mutual evaluation process. Dennis Campbell, our vice president of franchising, he really spends a lot of time evaluating whether or not these folks have the means, but also have the skills and desire to live kind of our mission and values on a daily basis. We do want to find some passion with folks, but what we do see a lot of times is families that have multiple kids. So we have 2 franchisees in Chicago. They have 5 kids each. They bought 16 locations. They could never get all their kids into a swim lesson. There is a lack of water out there for kids to learn to swim, especially with an awesome experience like Big Blue. I can tell you, Nick, your experience probably learning to swim was not great. I know mine wasn't. I mean, I got kicked off a dock at summer camp, and good luck, tread water. And the water was freezing in Boston. And, whereas kids today, we're raising kids that need to be, I wouldn't call them snowflakes, but they tend to need to be pampered a little bit more, and having that warm water, warm air, extra fun experience. Again, it makes it more desirable for them to learn to swim. But back to the investor, yeah, you're right. I mean, not everybody has $1 million in the bank, but the folks that do and are looking for a long-term 30-year play, and where they're making some returns on their money. Year over year consistently, this is a great model for it. This is something that you park your money, and after a few years, it starts to really create some returns, and you become kind of the public utility within the market that you're in, where parents have multiple kids, and they're taking every year. They have a new child or something. They're bringing that child to the swim lesson.
Scott, aside from capital, what do you find sometimes doesn't make for a good fit with candidates that may even be interested and want to go forward?
Well, we do background credit checks on folks. Sometimes people have some things on their, prior history that we just feel doesn't align with who we are. That's one area where I've seen we've denied some folks that wanted to come in. Other areas that we don't like barracudas. That's the a-hole fish of the sea. I think at the end of the day, if you're coming in here to be our partner, you understand that we're not perfect, and that we use the Kaizen approach of continuous improvement continuously, and we will continuously look at data, continuously learn, have learnings, and evolve. And through this whole pandemic, we've had to basically rewrite our business plan because some were shut down, some our Chicago facilities we've had to we're at a 1-to-1 because we're in phase 3. But I think our teams have done an amazing job optimizing and reopening and providing a safe environment for families to come back in and social distance, and also the swim associates to feel safe and get back and having fun with the kids.
Scott, We appreciate you spending time with us and giving us a good story. It's not about us, it's about our broker community and our franchise buyer community, that they're able to learn a little bit about Big Blue. Just in closing, you want to learn more information about the opportunity, where do you go?
You can go to bigblueswimschool.com/franchising. We have a lot of information up there, pretty transparent. You can email us at franchising@bigblueswimschool.com if you wanted more information that way. And you can take my personal email, scott@l5capital.com. So happy to talk to anybody.
Scott, appreciate it. For Charles Nicola, I'm Nick Powles. Thank you for joining us for another conversation this time with a great franchisor. Take care.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.